And good evening and welcome to the Haskell House here in Clarion. It is the Redbank Chevrolet Main Street Sports Show tonight. I'm Mike Kalinowski along with Mike Kilroy, the two MKs here again this week as we get set to bring you some great information, getting set for the showdown between Cambria Heights and Central Clarion. And I know this is a game that a lot of people are looking at. Should be a really, really good one. Two teams that are undefeated on the season. And I know coming up a little bit later on, we're going to have Dave Eggleton and some of his players here too.
Yeah, we have a pretty action-packed show. We're going to talk a little bit about this matchup, which should be a great matchup. Both teams have different strengths. Both teams have different weaknesses. Not many weaknesses, but it's going to be a good battle. And then we can talk to Coach Eggleton and some of his seniors he's bringing down for practice, a rainy practice they had today. So it should be an interesting conversation with them too later.
Yeah, they'll be coming right in from practice, so we don't know what we're going to get. I do know, though, you're bringing back Noah Harrison. That boy can talk, so get ready. That's all I can tell you. We had him about baseball over the summer. He's fantastic, but I'm sure the rest of the guys will be great too. But Mike, you know, these two teams on the road to this quarterfinal game, working their way in undefeated on the season. For Central Clarion, it was a win over Karn City in that championship game, which Karn City really tested them in that ball game, and then a win over Farrell last week. A lot of folks, and we talked about it, I thought Farrell was going to give them a lot more trouble than they did, but a little bit different Farrell team, I think, than what they've had in the past.
And they struggled passing the ball in that game. Central Clarion did a great job getting pressure on Big East and forcing him into errant throws. And they did a good job on the backside in coverage. Really, that game came down to that 4 or 5 minute stretch to start the second half when Central Clarion did what Central Clarion typically does, just goes on the scoring rampage. That game was, 14-6 at the half, and Farrell was going in to maybe potentially tie the game or really cut into that lead. They turned them away, and then bang, 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 all of a sudden that 14-6 lead ballooned into 35-6, and that was lights out for Farrell. That's one thing. When I talked to Cambria Heights' coach, she said we can't allow them to do that. We can't let them go bang bang and get these big plays and score in a hurry. We have to make them earn it. So that's going to be kind of the battle within the battle, is how can the Highlanders slow the Wildcats down enough to kind of stay in the game, and because they're a second half team, stay in the game, wear them out, and maybe have a chance to win late.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it seems like Central Clarion, their mantra is that second half, and they've been close in the last couple games in that first half. You know, Karn City was with them, and of course Farrell was right with them. So if Cambria Heights wants any chance at nipping them, you know, they got to find a way in that third quarter to make. And it sounds crazy because in a first half where it's real tight, you think, well, you don't have to make many adjustments, but you really do against a team like Central Clarion, because they have that ability to come out and put the lights out.
Yeah, and one thing Cambria Heights has been really good at this year is making those halftime adjustments. You see it game after game after game. Kind of like Central Clarion, they make really good adjustments too. Tight game, feeling out process. Okay, what can we do? What's going to be successful? What's not going to be successful? And then bam, we start executing what we can do successfully, and they just take off. Both teams have been able to do that this year. So again, that battle within a battle, who's going to be able to do that? Who's going to be able to pick apart the other team's weaknesses and take advantage of it?
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting too. You know, all facets of the game. You always look at these things, and I know Bob and I argue each and every week about even the coin toss. Do you take that ball in a game like this first? Do you want to get that ball first to come out in the second half? I think if you're Central Clarion, you probably stick with your defense out there first, because you know how strong you are in the second half. But if you're Central, or if you're Cambria Heights, I always want to call them Central Cambria. I'm sorry about that if I do. But Cambria Heights, you know, do you do that first? Or,
that was a really big key thing to that game against Farrell, was when they deferred. They got that ball to start the second half, and I had said it on the broadcast with Dave Cadis. This first drive is going to set the tone for this game. Second play of the drive, 66-yard touchdown pass over the top. And then they got a little bit of a break with the squib kick. And they were able to recover it. It's another huge momentum swing. And then a few plays later, boom, they score again. And all of a sudden, that really close game is now teetering on a blowout. And Farrell never recovered from that. So I think you're right. I think it comes down to the coin toss. Central Clarion is going to defer, put that defense on the field, so you can maybe double possession the thing at the end of the half. Get the ball, put the ball in at the end of the first half, get the ball to start the second half, put it in, and have that double possession. That coaches kind of covet that in games like this.
And too, Central Cambria is a team too coming in. We'll talk more. We have a segment here. We have another one coming up where we'll get even more in depth. But very Karn City-like in the fact that I was looking down through their stats, and I'm thinking to myself, as a play-by-play guy, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys that have, starting at 171 yards and going up, that touch the ball a lot. You're looking, all of them have played in all of the games, and all of them have significant touches. So that's one of those things that, they're able to bring a lot of guys in. And, that's one thing that, for Central Clarion, they're going to be facing some guys with fresh legs quite a bit.
And a lot of them are seniors, too. So they're a very senior-laden team. They had 10 guys back on offense, 9 guys on defense, Cambria Heights. But yeah, they're very Karn City-like in that they don't have one guy that maybe pops off the screen at you statistically. They don't have one guy that you're like, oh wow, circle this guy. This guy's going to get the ball 20 times. This is the guy that everyone has to gear up to stop. They have like 7 guys like that who are going to get maybe 4, 5, 6 carries. But their coach said, some games it's X gets a bulk. He gets hot. He gets the bulk of the carries. And some weeks it's Y. Some weeks it's Z. Very unselfish team. In that effect. You look at the aggregate of all the guys who have played, their rushing numbers as a team are just incredible. Incredible running the ball this year.
Oh, and they are, and here's the other big stat too, and I just was looking here just to check, average per rush, and the least is 4.6 yards a carry. That's big. If you can hand it to a guy and on any given down at least get 4.5, 5 yards on a carry, that's phenomenal because you can do all kinds of stuff, with the other downs with that. But boy, to know that you can go out there and on most carries you're going to get 5 yards, that's huge.
And like Karn City, who you said really played Central Clarion tough in that district championship game. They have different styles of running backs too. They have a little speed guy. They have a kind of a tweener. They have a big guy, a big basher between the tackles. So they can use these different guys, different matchups to kind of take advantage of, okay, what's Central Clarion showing? What's the opponent showing? How can we kind of use these guys at the best to kind of take advantage of what we see? So it's going to be a challenge for Central Clarion to kind of the chess match to kind of figure out, okay, what are we going to need to do to slow this running game down? They want to go on those 15-play drives and keep Jace Ferguson off the field. And if they can do that, it's going to be one of those slugfest nights.
Well, and it's big too. We've seen the teams that were successful against Central Clarion this year, and I mean they didn't lose a game, but at least in the first half or so, you saw teams that were more successful. Du Bois comes to mind, Karn City there toward the end, but in those first halves of games, especially. They were able to control the ball. They were able to take that ball out of their hands. They were able to go on long sustained drives. They were able to run that clock too, because that clock against Central Clarion, you don't want any time on that clock if you don't have to, that you don't have the ball, because any time that they even have a little bit of time is pretty dangerous.
Yeah, and Cambria Heights coach Jared Lewis, who we had a lengthy conversation. Great guy. He's really pumped up for this team, really excited for this team. Last year they won the Class A title in District 6. They moved up to 2A. Not a lot of people gave them a chance to win the district level and go undefeated. So they've kind of exceeded those outside expectations. But they felt like they had the team that they could do it this year, and they were able to do it. But their march was a little bit different than Central Clarion's. They played some tight games this year. So we'll see if that's a factor. They've been under fire a lot more. Central Clarion's has all these mercy rule games. They haven't been in as many tight games. Karn City district championship game notwithstanding. Central Cambria, or I did it.
You did
Cambria
it too.
Heights. Cambria Heights.
As soon as I said it.
Yeah, Cambria Heights has been in some tight games, and they've had to come up with some big plays in crunch time. So.
Well, and they knocked off Richland in the first round game, of course, to win that championship, to come here 42-21. So, they, like you said, they have had some tough contests. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk a little bit more about Cambria Heights, but also get on about Central Clarion as well and talk about that football team. It's all coming up. We'll take a time out. You are watching the Redbank Chevrolet Main Street Sports Show right here on exploreClarion.com.
Discover Road Plus Trail AT, our most trusted truck tire, is now better than ever and available for your truck or SUV. They're designed for the reliability and durability to find adventure beyond the pavement and are backed by a Cooper mileage warranty of up to 65,000 miles. Learn more about the reliable Discover Road Plus Trail AT at CooperTire.com. Count on Cooper. Or stop by Carly Tires in Clarion. Carly Tires, the area's largest selection of tires. Need reliable plumbing or heating services? Call Luton's Plumbing and Heating. Fast, friendly, and available 24/7. Call them at 814-226-8695.
Hi, my name is Jason and welcome to Sweet Basil. Come on in.
Afford a gorgeous, custom-designed hardwood Kales kitchen for a lot less than you'd pay at a DIY store. Go to FactoryDirectKitchens.net. At Kales, there are never middleman markups or hidden charges that can add 40%. Go to FactoryDirectKitchens.net. That's FactoryDirectKitchens.net.
A division of M&B Group is your trusted local ready-mix supplier for residential and commercial projects. Dubrook provides a full line of decorative concrete, as well as concrete supplies, along with a variety of concrete tools and accessories. Dubrook can provide services large or small for residential and commercial projects to contractors or homeowners. Dubrook is here to provide you with options and ideas to make planning your next project simple. Let Dubrook help you with the supplies you need to get the job done. Dubrook is proud to support our local communities with plants in Clarion, Du Bois, St. Mary's, Butler, Evans City, Bradford, and Meadville. Call 1-844-382-7665.
Modern Living Solutions in Knox is always on the lookout for driven, positive individuals to join their team. They offer career growth opportunities and industry-leading pay. No experience is necessary as training is provided. Apply today and build a future with Modern Living Solutions.
Mike Kalinowski, Mike Kilroy here with you this evening, and we're getting ready for a big contest coming up on Saturday as Cambria Heights gets set to take on Central Clarion. We've been talking a lot about Cambria Heights, that football team. Mike, really tough. I mean, they're undefeated. They're coming in. Overall record now would stand at 13-0. They can run the football. They have a young quarterback. They can throw the football as well. So this is a multifaceted team coming in. But Central Clarion, they were up to the task last week against what we thought was a pretty tough Farrell team. And I think they're going to be up to that task again this week.
It's really nothing that Central Clarion hasn't seen before. Like I said, they're very similar to Karn City. They're probably looking at a lot of Karn City film as well as Cambria Heights film this week. So kind of attacking maybe the same way. This team, obviously, the Highlanders, they do things a little bit differently than Karn City in the way that they attack you, but it's still the same kind of at the root level. We're going to run the ball with multiple guys. We're going to hit a big pass play over the top, and we're going to play fast, swarming defense and make you earn every inch of that field. So, but again, it's nothing Central Clarion hasn't really seen this year. So I'm sure Dave Eggleton and his staff are going to put in a very good game plan against this team, and they're going to roll the dice and see what happens. Of course, when you have a guy like Jace Ferguson, that makes things a whole lot easier to do offensively and defensively. He's a heck of a safety too.
Yeah.
One thing Central Clarion did exceedingly well last week was play defense. Other than they only gave up really a couple big plays. That was the emphasis last week against Farrell, was don't give up the big play. Don't let them get outside of containment. And they really shut down Jules Johnson in the second half. Jules Johnson had a 30-yard touchdown run. I think he only had 2 other runs that were over 15 yards or over 10 yards. So they did a good job there, and they gave up nothing really in the passing game. In fact, Jules Johnson, I think, was their leading passer on a halfback option pass.
Yeah.
So they succeeded in their game plan last week. I'm sure they have a good game plan for this week.
Yeah, one thing too, looking at Cambria Heights, the Highlanders, this kind of stood out too. I had it highlighted. 4th in the state in scoring defense. They're only allowing 7 points a game on average. So that's outstanding. And you were just talking about how well Clarion was able to, go and attack and things like that. They have 4 guys, Eckenrode, Jasper, Lewis, and Moraney. They all have over 100 tackles apiece. And that's almost unheard of, So this is a very physical team. And when we talk about Central Clarion, and you talk about Jace Ferguson and his ability to run and throw. I was totaling up some yards. Ferguson, all by himself, throwing the football, rushing the football, has 4,030 yards this year.
Yeah.
And that's just incredible. So, they got to watch, because then we got guys coming in tonight, like Harrison, and you got Sawicki, and you've got, of course, that whole crew of guys
who had a couple big catches.
Absolutely.
Last week.
With
and
him.
Alston on the line, one of the key members of that offensive line.
And of course, Burford, Rex, they bring Rex on that sweep, and they do that little shovel pass to him too. So they're incredibly dangerous. And, and I think, we talk about how Central Clarion is going to be tested by this team, but I think Cambria Heights too.
Oh, for sure.
When you look, they're going to truly be tested by the multifaceted look, especially on offense, by Central Clarion.
Yeah, we talked about how diverse Cambria Heights is offensively. Well, so is Central Clarion. You kind of rattled off all those names. They don't have just one guy. Yeah, obviously, Jace Ferguson is a focal point, running and passing, but he's got all these weapons around him. He can go those little flip passes. The Ethan Rex can run the ball. They can throw short over the middle to Cohen Kemmer. Then they can hit the deep ball to Burford and Sawicki on the outside. So they can do a lot of different things. Noah Harrison's a little spark plug running back who has a little bit of swerve to him. He can move for a bigger little guy. I call him a big little guy because he's little, but he's put together like a little freight train. So he can run. He can catch the passes too. So they have a lot of weapons you have to contend with too. Central Clarion.
And Central Clarion too is good at, I think, setting teams up too for the deep ball with Burford and some of those guys. You don't see that a lot of times, but Ferguson has the arm too, that when he goes back, and they'll run the ball here, they'll do that, and the defense starts to cheat up a little bit, and they're very easily. And Burford's just got jets as far as speed too.
So is Sawicki.
Yeah.
He's sneaky fast. I mean, that 66-yard touchdown pass, he just sprinted past the secondary, and it was a perfectly thrown ball. He made a play on defense into the first half that probably saved the touchdown as a safety, where Farrell had a receiver open on a post pattern in the end zone. It looked like it was going to be an easy touchdown pass. Sawicki comes swooping in, swats the ball away, keeps him off the board at the end of that half. So those two guys have ample speed, incredible speed, and it's going to be interesting to see that speed translate against Cambria Heights.
Yeah, and one thing I wanted to mention too, as far as the defense for Cambria Heights, and I was looking at things that stood out, and that's one thing. The Clarion line is incredible, and they've done a great job all season. But when you look at Cambria Heights, the Highlanders, they have Eckenrode with 4.5 sacks on the season, Lewis with 6 sacks, Ryblom with 3.5 sacks, and Jasper with 6.5 sacks. And they total 28 sacks on the season.
And they have 157 tackles for a loss this year.
So
that's a lot.
those are things, of course, that when you look at Central Clarion, what they're going to have to do, especially with that line, they're going to have to play, tough, just like in that Carn City game and stuff like that too. But I think it's a little different aspect. This is a team that's used to getting to the quarterback. They're used to getting in the backfield, and they're going to have some speed too. So that's going to be something to deal with.
Yeah, you mentioned the tackle numbers for them. It's a lot of assisted tackles, not a lot of solo tackles. So you know that they swarm. They're having 3-4 hats on the football on every play.
And and then we're like we were talking about too for Central Clarion. You talk about all the different weapons, and we talked about the throwing game and things they can do there. But the running game, they also have a bunch of different guys that they can go to as well. Kind of shake it up a little bit. They don't maybe see the same numbers with the 7 guys that Cambria goes to, Cambria Heights, but. I think that that's another thing that they're going to have to really look out for.
Well, Central Clarion also has probably one of the best running backs playing quarterback for them in District 9. So that helps too when you run those RPOs. He can keep it, he can hand it off, he can throw it. So he runs that offense so well this year. And then you got guys like Noah Harrison and Ethan Rex. And some of the other guys they employ, Noah Harrison is a great runner too. He had.
Is that only because he's sitting here looking at us?
Yeah, he's sitting there. He waved at me. So
yeah. So we're like saying nice things. Right before he came in, he's like, I don't know about that kid. No, I'm just kidding.
But I take back every bad thing I ever said about Noah Harrison, which is 0. I never had said a bad thing about him. So.
All right, we're going to take a time out. We're going to welcome in Coach Eggleton and his crew of players tonight. We're going to talk to them a little bit and see what their thoughts are coming up here against the Highlanders.
Harrison's gobbling down his dinner, so we might have to take a break here.
Well, they just finished practice, so these guys, they're good and hungry. So we'll take a time out. We're going to come back. More coming your way. It's the Redbank Chevrolet Main Street Sports Show here from the historic Haskell House in Clarion, and it's all right here on exploreSportsPA.com.
Dubrook, a division of M&B Group, is your trusted local ready-mix supplier for residential and commercial projects. Dubrook provides a full line of decorative concrete, as well as concrete supplies, along with a variety of concrete tools and accessories. Dubrook can provide services large or small for residential and commercial projects to contractors or homeowners. Dubrook is here to provide you with options and ideas to make planning your next project simple. Let Dubrook help you with the supplies you need to get the job done. Dubrook is proud to support our local communities with plants in Clarion, Du Bois, St. Mary's, Butler, Evans City, Bradford, and Meadville. Call 1-844-382-7665.
are the window to your soul, so take care of them. The Laurel Eye Clinic provides complete care from annual exams, glasses and contacts to cataract and retinal surgery, LASIK, and more. As a trusted leader in family eye care for 50 years, you can trust them with yours. Call or visit us online today.
Clarion County Community Bank, you're more than just a number. With personalized service and modern conveniences, they make banking easy. Clarion County Community Bank, where community comes first. Discover Road Plus Trail AT, our most trusted truck tire, is now better than ever and available for your truck or SUV. They're designed for the reliability and durability to find adventure beyond the pavement and are backed by a Cooper mileage warranty of up to 65,000 miles. Learn more about the reliable Discover Road Plus Trail AT at CooperTire.com. Count on Cooper. Or stop by Carly Tires in Clarion. Carly Tires, the area's largest selection of tires. Need reliable plumbing or heating services? Call Luton's Plumbing and Heating. Fast, friendly, and available 24/7. Call them at 814-226-8695. Living Solutions in Knox is always on the lookout for driven, positive individuals to join their team. They offer career growth opportunities and industry-leading pay. No experience is necessary as training is provided. Apply today and build a future with modern Living Solutions.
Hi, my name is Jason, and welcome to Sweet Basil. Come on in.
Afford a gorgeous, custom-designed hardwood Kales kitchen for a lot less than you'd pay at a DIY store. Go to FactoryDirectKitchens.net. At Kales, there are never middleman markups or hidden charges that can add 40%. Go to FactoryDirectKitchens.net. That's FactoryDirectKitchens.net.
All right, and welcome back here to the Main Street Sports Show, brought to you by Redbank Chevrolet, here from the historic Haskell House in downtown Clarion. Mike Kalinowski, along with Mike Kilroy. We have Coach Davey Eagleton with the Central Clarion Wildcats, and the wide array of players here. We have Noah Harrison, also Cohen Kemmer. Want to thank him for being here too. Jesse Sawicki and Matt Alston. So you guys just finishing practice, and you hurry up here. Good practice tonight.
Yeah, it was a good practice
all
due to
right.
weather conditions.
Well, yeah, that weather kind of rolled in and kind of ruined
Well,
things. But
we know Noah had a good dinner. We watched him wolf down a Big Mac over here, so you know he had a good dinner.
So if your mom's watching, he's already eaten. So.
She's gonna yell at me for eating that.
Well, you said you're gonna get another one on the way home, so maybe don't do that.
No, not anymore.
Right?
All right, Mr. Kilroy.
All right, well, Coach, last week, great win for you. Broke that game open at the beginning of the second half with those big plays. How proud are you of these guys to kind of weather that storm in the first half, feel them out, and then just take off in that second half?
Yeah, we thought we had an advantage, especially up front, that we could kind of wear on them in the first half. We really did. You know, it didn't show on the scoreboard, but I think it showed up in the second half. You know, we were the more physical team the whole game. And then we made some big plays in that second half, that third quarter. It's kind of been our MO. You know, teams have been able to slow us down for maybe a quarter, maybe a half, but at some point we have that big quarter, and then we break it open. That's what we've done all season. So it wasn't a surprise. We felt confident coming into the second half with the way the first half went. It wasn't like we were worried or panicked. We were very confident.
And now you have another tough test with Cambria Heights. They come in undefeated. They come in as a district champion as well. A lot of Karn City in the way that they spread the ball around. What are your impressions when you saw them on film and kind of dug in deep into the game plan for them this week?
Yeah, they have a very physical line. They come off the ball hard. They do remind you of a Karn City in their style of play. Plus, they have multiple backs that touch the ball. I think they've got 3 guys that are over 500 yards rushing. You can't just focus on one guy, and that makes it tough preparing for a team. Last week we lined up. You had to know where the Johnson kid was, and we just had to keep track of him all game. This week you can't do that. There's not one guy to point at and say, "Hey, this is the guy we have to stop." They have multiple guys that can hurt you if you don't do your job and if you don't read your keys and play your position.
Yeah, but we were talking in that one segment. You also have a ton of guys that you can turn to. Obviously, Jace is a point man. He run those RPOs, making those decisions, making those passes, who would hand off to. But you have a number of guys right here who can hurt teams in any given play. So obviously that's a big benefit to you too going into this game where you're also diversified on offense.
Yeah, we have a lot of playmakers on our offense, and Jace really runs the offense so well. He's that 4-year starter. He knows the offense probably about as well as I do at this point, and everyone else around him benefits from that, and they make plays when they get the ball in their hands.
And guys, so certainly since you have the microphone, how good did that feel last week to get that win? It was around that you guys had kind of stumbled in the last 2 years against Westinghouse. Obviously, different situation this year with playing a team like Farrell. But to get that win and to move on and now have an opportunity to play in the state quarterfinals, it's got to be great for you guys.
Absolutely. It's awesome because past 2 years we've had a sour taste in our mouth, especially after the first round. It was good to get that win and get some momentum building all the way through playoffs. So.
So, Cohen, how confident are you guys, and how focused are you going into this week against again another undefeated team, another big challenge Saturday afternoon, a little bit out of the routine, I guess, a little bit playing a Saturday afternoon game as opposed to Friday night game.
Yeah, like Coach said, they're similar to Carn City, so we gotta slow them down there. And playing on Saturday, I'm kind of excited. It's gonna be fun. I mean, kind of like college, different feeling.
Yeah. How about you, Coach? Does it change anything as you prepare? Do you see a positive, negative to it? Because they played on Saturday, you played on Friday. You have maybe an extra, or no? They both played Friday night. I was thinking something else, but so both teams have the same amount of preparation time.
Yeah, it's just different, and I told the guys to start the week that from here on out, we're playing for 3 more games. Mm-hmm. Every game's going to be a different challenge as far as schedule goes. When you play, you win this week. Next week you got to deal with the Thanksgiving holiday. So you've got to be able to overcome those type of things and still go out there and be ready to play a football game. And that's what we're preparing for. That's what we're doing our best to just focus on the game. No different than normal. Obviously, our practice schedule was pushed off a little bit from normal, but we've been trying to stay as normal as possible.
Yeah, they both played Friday night. I misspoke there, but Matt, I want to talk to you a little bit about this offensive line. You guys have been money all year. How good does it feel to kind of line up week after week and just impose your will like you've been able to do? Obviously, you want to try that again this week.
I think it boosts our confidence a lot for the whole offense. I mean, giving Jace all the time and opening up all the holes for the running backs. I mean, that wouldn't be possible without our scout team D-line and O-line giving us great looks week in, week out. They just do a phenomenal job. Sometimes give us better looks than we can handle, and I think it just makes us better as a whole unit.
And Jesse, I want to talk to you just about when Mason went down, you really had to step up, and you did a great job stepping up. How big was that for you and for the team that you were able to step into that role and make some of these huge plays that you made this year in the passing game, catching deep passes, touchdowns, kind of picking up right where Mason left off, and now you two as a tandem are really, really hard to deal with.
Yeah, I was ready to step up in the moment. Anytime I get a moment to shine, and I try to do my best in it. And when he went down, when I got called my number, I was ready for it. And after the first big play I made, I knew every time the ball was thrown to me, I was going to catch it for a touchdown. No worries there at all.
Yeah, you had that big play to start that second half, that deep pass from Jace. Perfect pass, but you just turned on the jets and ran through that secondary. When the ball was in the air, what were you thinking there? Because it was a perfect strike. You're probably like, don't drop it, right? Because it was right there and it was kind of an easy touchdown.
Yeah, I give a lot of credit to Jace. He can throw that ball far, stretch the defense, and I have to go get it, but it's always a perfect pass because he's that good. So.
And like I said, how good is it to have you and Mason now as bookend deep threats? That really opens up the field. It's got to be a great boon for this offense to have you two out there together.
Yeah, it's great because originally it was like they'd always double berth, and I wasn't really out there that much. But once you get out there and you get your opportunity, and they see that we have 2 people that can do basically the same thing, get open deep, they have to really prepare for that and worry about it. So.
Coach. What did Jesse really bring to this offense once he emerged? When Mason went down, sometimes that happens, right? When a guy goes down, someone steps up, and all of a sudden, now you have 2 deep threats that you can go to and really stretch a defense with.
Yeah, having both those guys on the outside to be able to go deep with is huge. Then it opens up the inside, the crossing routes, and we have guys like Ethan Rex and Cohen here that do a great job working the middle of the field and beating zone coverage. When you can take that top off of a defense. It really makes the coach worry and makes the secondary worry about you getting beat deep and opens up a lot of stuff underneath.
Yeah, what can you say about Jesse here stepping into that moment? Like he said, he was ready for it. He got that moment, stepped into it, and now he's one of the most dangerous guys you got out there on offense.
Yeah, we talked about it a lot in the summer. You know, we knew what Mason could do in 7-on-7s. He was just, you know, dominating. And I called the rest of the receiving core out in the summer. I said, somebody has to step up and be the next guy. You know, if Mason gets double covered or if gets taken away, we need someone else that can step up and do the job. And we've had guys, you know, Jesse proved it, Ethan's proved it, Kellen's proved it. All these guys have done a great job stepping up. And then defensively too. That was huge for us. You know, Mason was our best corner, and we always would match him up with the number one receiver. Well, when he went down, then Cohen stepped in and played corner. Jesse went to the number one corner, and he was taking, you know, some really good football players, you know, the Pisarcik kid from Brockway, Garden, you know, everyone's best receiver for about a 3-week stretch, and just doing a fantastic job on them. And so it really had made us better in both facets of the game, offense and defense.
Yeah, before we take a break, one more point about Jesse. He made a great play on defense at the end of that first half, making up that ground, swatting away that pass. It looked like a touchdown for Farrell. That could have changed the game a little bit. If they go in there, maybe 14-12, maybe get the 2-point conversion, 14-14 at the half. But he swooped in, got his hand on that pass. That looked like when the ball was released, it was going to be a touchdown.
Yeah, I thought it was a touchdown when the ball was thrown, and it actually wasn't even Jesse's zone. We were in a zone coverage. He recognized that the kid was open. He made a great break on the ball, was able to make it to the middle of the field and swat it away. It was huge. Yeah, you go into the game, you know, by the half possibly tied up, that's a whole different feeling. Even if you do score that first play, it's still a touchdown game. So keeping them off the scoreboard at the end of the half was huge for us. Momentum-wise, you know, when you get the ball and score and go up 2 scores, that's more of a daunting feeling as the other team when you're down 2 scores, as opposed to just 1.
All right, we're going to take a timeout. We're going to come back. One more segment here with the guys from Central Clarion. We'll have a little more talk with them about the game coming up on Saturday and get you set up for that. And you're watching the Main Street Sports Show brought to you by Redbank Chevrolet, and it's right here from the Haskell House in Clarion on exploreSportsPA.com.
Are the window to your soul, so take care of them. The Laurel Eye Clinic provides complete care from annual exams, glasses and contacts to cataract and retinal surgery, LASIK and more. As a trusted leader in family eye care for 50 years, you can trust them with yours. Call or visit us online today.
Clarion County Community Bank, you're more than just a number. With personalized service and modern conveniences, they make banking easy. Clarion County Community Bank, where community comes first. This game is brought to you by Tionesta Builders? No, Tionesta Builders Supply. Family-owned and operated home improvement centers located in Tionesta and Shippenville. The Cooper Discoverer Road Plus Trail AT, our most trusted truck tire, is now better than ever and available for your truck or SUV. They're designed for the reliability and durability to find adventure beyond the pavement and are backed by a Cooper mileage warranty of up to 65,000 miles. Learn more about the reliable Discoverer Road Plus Trail AT at CooperTire.com. Count on Cooper. Or stop by Carly Tires in Clarion. Carly Tires, the area's largest selection of tires. Need reliable plumbing or heating services? Call Luton's Plumbing and Heating. Fast, friendly, and available 24/7. Call them at 814-226-8695. Modern Living Solutions in Knox is always on the lookout for driven, positive individuals to join their team. They offer career growth opportunities and industry-leading pay. No experience is necessary as training is provided. Apply today and build a future with Modern Living Solutions.
Hi, my name is Jason, and welcome to Sweet Basil. Come on in.
The Cooper Discoverer Road Plus Trail AT, our most trusted truck tire, is now better than ever and available for your truck or SUV. They're designed for the reliability and durability to find adventure beyond the pavement and are backed by a Cooper mileage warranty of up to 65,000 miles. Learn more about the reliable Discoverer Road Plus Trail AT at CooperTire.com. Count on Cooper. Or stop by Carly Tires in Clarion. Carly Tires, the area's largest selection of tires.
Afford a gorgeous, custom-designed hardwood Kale's kitchen for a lot less than you'd pay at a DIY store. Go to FactoryDirectKitchens.net. At Kale's, there are never middleman markups or hidden charges that can add 40%. Go to FactoryDirectKitchens.net. That's FactoryDirectKitchens.net.
A division of M&B Group is your trusted local ready-mix supplier for residential and commercial projects. Dubrook provides a full line of decorative concrete, as well as concrete supplies, along with a variety of concrete tools and accessories. Dubrook can provide services large or small for residential and commercial projects to contractors or homeowners. Dubrook is here to provide you with options and ideas to make planning your next project simple. Let Dubrook help you with the supplies you need to get the job done. Dubrook is proud to support our local communities with plants in Clarion, Du Bois, St. Mary's, Butler, Evans City, Bradford, and Meadville. Call 1-844-382-7665.
All right, and welcome back here to the Redbank Chevrolet Main Street Sports Show, live from the Haskell House in Clarion. I'm Mike Kalinowski. This is Mike Kilroy, and we've got Coach Dave Eggleton. We have Noah Harrison. We also have Cohen Kemmer, Jesse Sawicki, and Matt Alston with us here as we're talking about the big contest coming up here on Saturday, quarterfinals. Can you believe quarterfinals in the state playoffs? So, one of the things I wanted to ask too is just, looking at this, and you guys, I know the coaches have worked with you all week, and we'll get your take on this first, but, you're going up against a team, they can throw the football, but they can really, really run as well. What are some of the things that maybe you guys can tell us that you've been working on this week? Where's the focus been in your practices this week?
I think focus has been heavy on stopping the run. Okay. Like Coach Egg said, they have 3 guys who can carry the ball. That's always not easy to game plan for. So I think our main goal is to dominate up front and do what we can to slow that down.
All right. Anybody else? Things you're working on this week?
Like Mason, he's the lockdown corner, and Jesse stepped in there, and they can both lock down both the receivers and the outside. So having that is big.
Yep.
I would say the big thing for me probably is coming up and making a hit, making the tackle, because, in the Karn City District 9 championship game, I would come up, maybe I'd get killed, but at least come up and maybe make a hit or two, take it inside.
He's honest, right?
Yeah, Well, you guys would admit that, but just come up and stick your nose in there and hope, right?
Yeah, that's basically the game plan there.
I think we've been focusing on adjusting to all the motions that they run. D-line and linebackers kind of switching, and same with the outside linebackers and corners. It all just depends on what type of motion, and the D-line just trying to not get blown back off the ball and just kind of getting penetration and stopping their run.
Does the weather affect you guys at all? I know we've had some changes, and we're finally, because it's been relatively nice, but we're supposed to have some snow here, especially this weekend. Does that really have an effect on you?
I kind of think the colder weather kind of gives more energy to our team somehow. I think we all try and hype each other up to stay warm and stuff, and it just has a positive impact on everyone.
And you guys on the line, you don't wear sleeves or anything, so.
No, we try and act tough.
That's right.
You can't wear sleeves if you're an offensive lineman. I think it's in the handbook, right?
We got enough heat protecting us.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
And of you other guys, does it affect you at all? I mean, the change in the weather, I know loosening up, staying loose, things like that, but most of you guys are involved both ways, so you're out there a lot.
I would say it doesn't really affect me because, once you get running out there, you kind of just stay warm. And then, after halftime, you're cold for a little bit, then you stretch, you get back out there, you're good.
Mm-hmm. Keeping your hands warm for receivers is big. So sometimes you won't feel it, but just catch it. You just got to catch it. And
Yeah.
no matter how much it stings.
I was going to say, that's why they make those gloves now, don't they?
If I was given the option, I would wear sleeves. Not allowed to wear sleeves.
Ah.
So I do not. I may look tough, but
inside, you're freezing.
I'm so cold.
Who put that rule in that you can't wear sleeves?
Coach Eggleton.
Is it for everyone that can't wear sleeves, or is it just your running backs and your line?
We don't like our backs wearing sleeves, just because the Under Armour, it's a slippery. Yeah, so
it's a fair.
It's very. I don't say that we say they can't, but it's very much discouraged.
Well, it's a good point, right? Because you want that ball security.
Yeah.
If you have a sleeve on that's slick, especially if it's wet or cold, more fumbles, and that's bad. So.
And from your standpoint too, Coach, these guys were talking about things that you're focused on. What are you looking at? What have you been working on this week to get these guys ready for Saturday?
Offensively, they send a lot of pressure. They're a blitz-heavy team, so being ready to pick up the blitz, our offensive line having their heads up in the run and the pass game. They can. I know I heard you guys talking when we walked in about all the sacks they've had this year and tackles for a loss. They want to put a lot of pressure on the offense, so. Our O-line really needs to step up, and when they send the blitz, which is often, they need to identify it and they need to pick it up. Defensively, we've got to read our keys. We've got to line up. They do a lot of things formationally, so alignment assignment is huge this week. If you don't line up right to start the play, you're not in a good position to be successful. So we've been working alignment assignment. Today it was a tough day in the sideways rain, and but we were out there and we're getting as much done as we could. Not a great day to work on our passing game today, so but we'll hopefully get back at that tomorrow and work a little bit more on that, and and pass defense as well. And the biggest thing is lining up, knowing your job, and being ready to play at the snap of the ball. If you have to think on defense, then you're in trouble. We try to get guys in a position where they read their keys and they know what they're doing every time without thinking too much about it.
Yeah, and you mentioned the blitz as a running back. It's going to put a lot of onus on you, right, to be able to identify where the blitz is coming, step up, make that block, give Jay some time to look downfield to his big receivers. Because when you blitz and you pick it up, that leaves opportunities for some big plays down the field.
Absolutely. And I mean, our line can't pick them all up, so got to do what I can to give Jace as much time as possible.
Yeah, that's a big key too, right? Because there's some big play opportunities when they blitz. So if you can pick it up and read it quickly and get the ball out.
Yeah, I know. I'll quote Coach Wazalowski from Redbank, a longtime coach there. When you blitz a lot, one band or the other is going to end up playing, and it causes big plays one way or the other. So hopefully, we can neutralize that blitz, and Noah's a great pass blocker too. I mean, that's overlooked a lot in his game, but he picks up blitz as well. He helps us. Our O-line gives Jace a ton of time, and a lot of that too is credited to Noah picking up blitzes and helping out where it's needed. And so that'll be big, him identifying who's coming and picking them up. And if Jace has time, we know what he has the capability of doing with these athletes on the outside.
Thank you.
Yeah, and one thing too, and we talk about it a lot, and I know you do too with the guys, is also too just watching mistakes. You don't want to have a lot of penalties. You want to make sure your head's in the ball game, because you never know when that one penalty might give them that advantage that they need to get that upper hand on you.
Yeah, we talk about mistakes. We talk about all year. If a play is a touchdown, it needs to be a touchdown. And that means if we can't have drop balls, we can't have missed throws, we can't have that missed block that would have sprung for a big play. When a touchdown's on the field, it needs to be a touchdown, and that's something I think we've done better this year than any other year. We haven't looked at a lot of film where we said, hey, that should have been a touchdown, we didn't make it happen. So just making the plays that are there for us.
Yeah, you've said in the past too, like the film study, you really look at it hard, and you're really hard on the guys. So sometimes you would think you would have lost the game at some of your film study. Guys, I mean, that's got to be a benefit, right? You don't just look at all the successful plays. You look at the handful of plays that maybe didn't go right. And I'm sure you've looked at that this week, trying to have that perfect quote-unquote game, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's impossible to have a perfect game, but to get as close as possible is the goal. And we get held in line. That's what we do. I mean, our goal is just to play as clean as possible, and focus on the mistakes so we can learn from them and get better.
Yeah, I mean, film study. How big has that been this year? Sounds like it's a big part of this. It's a big part of every team, but you guys really dissect it and really dive in deep, especially at this point of the season.
I mean, even though we win like 50, 60 nothing, sometimes it does feel like you lose, but that's a good thing when the coaches are hard on you. It makes you better and makes you want to play even better.
There may have been some with that Carson City game for you, right? What you were talking.
So, I would say if they wouldn't do that, there's no way we would get better. And, give credit to the coaching staff. We probably have the best coaching staff for that, honestly, because without the film study and everything we do on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, we wouldn't be where we are at all. So.
Yeah, every Monday we spend about an hour to an hour and a half watching film, and some people get it harder than others week on week, but they just learn by that and sometimes build their confidence more, but everyone backs each other up, and it's overall good for the team.
Yeah, what does it say about these guys that they are willing to take that kind of criticism? Some guys might be like, what's the problem? We won 63-0. But, these guys know that, you have to get better. You can't get stagnant.
Yeah, this is a team that has, no ego. When they walk into the film study, they know it's not personal. They know that all the coaching staff likes every one of them, loves every one of them. But we want them to be better, and we want to fix the mistakes, and they want to be better. So, that's just a credit to these guys. There's sometimes you call a kid out on a mistake, they put their head down, they pout, they don't like being called out. These guys aren't like that. They see the mistake. Sometimes in film they'll call out, Coach, I really was bad on this play.
Yeah.
He'll tell you, we have guys. Charlie Heffel's probably the best for that.
Really?
He'll say, Coach, I was terrible on this play, and that might be the nice way of putting it. And he'll call himself out, and he knows he needs to do better. And that's all the guys. They have no problem with seeing their mistakes and trying to make it and fix them and making themselves better.
Well, and you probably learned a lot of that too, because I know back when you played for Clyde Connie at CL, I know the librarian used to go crazy because the coach at CL, Clyde Connie, would wear out VCRs because he would go over tape so much with these guys. And she used to scream and yell. She goes, "That's the fourth one I've had to buy this year already for you, Clyde." But you guys, and I think it was a difference when you played, and I think you've instilled that here as well.
Yeah, I still remember walking into Coach Connie's basement on a Saturday morning after a Friday night game, and I don't think he slept. I think he watched film from the time the game was over that night until we walked in. When we walked in that morning, and he was ready to – he knew every play when he turned it on before he even ran it. Who messed up, what was the problem, and what we need to do to fix it.
And that was on videotape back then too. Now you have the digital stuff, which makes it has to be a lot easier.
It wasn't as easy. Yeah, he had to rewind it and stop it at the beginning of the play. You couldn't jump to the back and forth and repeat the play like you do on Huddle. Yeah, it was a lot harder back then.
Yeah. So kind of maybe closing thought.
Okay.
Kind of go keys. What do you think the key is? What's going to be the key for you guys to come out of this with a victory and move on to that state semifinal?
I think that as long as our O-line can pick up all the blitzes, give Jace the amount of time he needs, open up all the holes for the running backs, and then our D-line as well, getting a bunch of penetration, stopping the run overall, our linebackers filling the holes, just overall stopping them and us getting the ball, I think that'll be the key for us.
Kind of what he said, right?
It's really who breaks first, I think we have the guys and the ability to. We're never going to back down from any challenge, and we're always going to come, head first into anything. So, I think that's how we're going to fight in this game.
Kind of like what Matt said with the blitzes. Sometimes the receivers are going to have to look quicker if Chase doesn't have much time, and just basically make sure you catch the ball before you run. I mean, I've done that a couple of times this year, so.
Yeah.
Also, what Matt said, it's all going to start up front. All the success we've had, gives credit to them. I mean, the backs, Jace wouldn't be able to do what they do without those guys up front. So they control the game.
And Coach, what are your keys to coming out of this? Give the victory.
Yeah, I agree with what Matt says. We got to win. We got to win the battle up front, both sides of the ball. That's where it's going to start. We know if we can stop them from running the ball, that's what they really want to do. I mean, not that they're not capable of throwing the ball, but they want to run the football. And then if we can, give our backs some holes and give Jace time against the blitz and a lot of man-to-man coverage, we feel like we can be successful. But that's easier said than done with the way they get after it on defense and send those blitzes.
Yeah, it sounds like they're really aggressive with those blitzes, and they swarm because we're looking at their tackle statistics. They have guys with a lot of tackles.
Yeah, they have 4 or 5 guys with 100 tackles.
It's a lot of assisted tackles. So they're getting 3-4 hats to the ball on every play. They're just piling up these gang tackles.
Yeah, gang tackling. We talk about that all the time as a defense. That's a sign of a great defense when you have a whole bunch of your guys around the ball, and that's what they do. So we certainly have a huge test ahead of us.
All right, so, that's going to wrap things up here from the Haskell House tonight. We want to thank you guys for being here. We wish you the best of luck. We'll be down there Saturday rooting you on too, and we hope it all comes out on the right side. I believe it will. I think you guys, your hearts are in the right place, and they're working hard too, Coach. So we wish you all the best of luck, and see what happens.
Yep. It's this fun time of the year.
It is.
If you're playing in November, mid-November, late November, you're doing something right.
And that's the thing. And at this point, too, nothing to hang your heads about, hold your heads high, because there's no easy game coming up. They're all going to be difficult. And you just have to play like you can, because and you know where you guys are at. And I think you are pretty confident. So best of luck. All right. That'll wrap things up for us here from the Haskell House tonight. And I do want to thank again all of our guests, Coach Eagleton, Noah. We also had Jesse, Cohen, and also Matt here with us this evening. For my partner, Mike Kilroy, this is Mike Kalinowski saying good night from the Haskell House. This has been the Redbank Chevrolet Main Street Sports Show here on exploreClarion.com. Good night.
Have a great day.